end of the day come and all of a sudden I'm just useless. My TBR has officially changed on day 2. This What am I doing? Winterween? Okay, quick before I forget, today is the last day that the shop is going to be open. I'm not sure when it's going to be opening next, maybe February or March. So if you'd like to get your hands on some of the new goodies, today is the day to do it. Thank you to everybody who has already made purchases. You guys are amazing. And I guess we can get on with the video. Hello and welcome to another vlog. Alright, so this is what, the 3rd vlog on the new channel? I'm so excited. Thank you so much for being here. I am trying to get a little bit better at structuring these in a way to make a more interesting video in the beginning and end, and then have a regular vlog in between. So don't mind me. I'm actually just putting away my makeup because I just did my makeup. I'm planning on picking out the books for my TBR for this week. I have one book already picked out because I'm currently reading it. So I will keep that as book number 1. I feel like I should pick more than I intend to read, or maybe not. Should I pick more for options or less and then just add to it? I don't know. I guess we will see. So I will take you to my TBR bookshelf and we will pick a couple of picks for the week. Okay. So this is my pick. I picked the Hush, which is a physical read. I am already like halfway through this book, so I'm just going to continue where I left off. Everything I Never Told You, Wilder Girls, because I'm just really excited about this book. The cover is gorgeous. And then Lies She Told, which I've already started and am almost done with. Regarding everything else, today is Sunday, January 3rd, and it is the kind of transitional day of the week for me. So I am currently wrapping up stuff from last week and starting fresh for this week. I originally was planning on finishing up the weekly 5s for this week, and then I decided that I'm just going to skip my weekly 5s this coming week. I kind of was tired of being behind, decided that I would use what I've already done and have that just be me being ahead for the next week instead of behind on this current week. And then today I'll be able to just focus on finishing up the vlog that should go out tomorrow, fingers crossed. I did edit a good chunk yesterday, fortunately, even though I did have quite a bad headache, which is one of the reasons why I didn't get further along with my weekly 5, which I had been planning. So that's kind of where I'm currently at today. Okay, so it is currently 6:40 p.m. I have finished editing the video for tomorrow. It's currently uploading. It's only 26% uploaded, but it's been a while since I finished it. I finished Lies She Told, and I don't know. I don't know how I feel about it. Good morning. Today is January 4th, and I am currently going through my planner, making sure to tick off my to-dos for the day. I have to do the thumbnail for today's video, and I have some exciting stuff going on regarding my TBR that I wanted to share with you. So basically, this is the TBR that I had picked for the week. I ended up finishing The Lies That She Told, and then yesterday I found out that there is a reading challenge happening this week called Winterween, and I wanted to see if I could participate. Turns out this book and this book will both work for the challenge. So there are 5 prompts for the challenge, and one of them is a book with blue in the cover, and another one is a book that you read in the dark, so late at night. Both of these I felt could fit that. I do feel like I'm going to have to knock off the Hush from my TBR this week. We will see how it goes, but this will kind of be knocked down to the bottom. And then for the 3 other prompts, there is a book with the word haunt in it, a book with the winter setting and a creepy novella or short. I already have Night of the Mannequins, which is a creepy novella or short. I then saw that the buddy read for the month was The Haunting of Brian Wilder, which is available on Kindle Unlimited, which I currently have access to. I checked for The Shining, which I've always wanted to read, and it does have a wintry setting theme in it, and it's available at my library, so I was able to nab the audiobook, and now my TBR has officially changed on day 2. Fortunately, it actually hasn't changed that much considering 2 of my books are the same, and I'm just holding off on the 3rd book and adding additional books. So I did start reading my Kindle version of the Night of the Mannequins, and I got 30% into it. I probably would have gotten farther, but I do have to work today, and I wanted to make sure that I stopped with enough time so that I can do some like before work prep and do the thumbnail for the video that is supposed to go out today on the channel. So I have to do that really quick. I also want to do a quick tarot reading with my Cosmos deck just to kind of start off the day because I haven't been doing that for a while. That's where I'm currently at. It's currently raining and that makes me so happy. That just goes to show how little it rains nowadays in California, or at least the Bay Area. It's just never rains here anymore. Okay, I was just blabbing for like 50 minutes. All I really wanted to say was that I'm prepping all of the December rewards to go out. In addition to that, I ended up doing a couple of holiday cards for family and friends. Okay, so it is currently 9 o'clock. I've been listening to The Shining. It's really good. Good morning. Today is Tuesday, January 5th, and I have been all over Winterween. I finished The Shining last night, which I wasn't thinking that I'd be able to do because I still had so much left, but I listened to audiobooks at double speed because otherwise it sounds like everything's just going way too slow. So it ended up taking half the time that I thought it was going to, and I managed to breeze through it. I absolutely loved it. 5 stars. I didn't think I would. I personally am not a fan of a lot of Stephen King movies or movies based off of his books, and since I know that he has a hand in some of them, even though I've heard that he's not happy with how some of them turn out, for some reason I just assumed that meant I wouldn't like his writing. But that being said, of all of the Stephen King movies, The Shining is one that I actually liked, the full movie, because I usually think it's pretty cool and it usually gets to the end of one of his movies and I'm like, eh. So I guess it's not a surprise that I would like this one, but the thing that I loved the most was the writing. I think he did an excellent job. That being said, I am now listening to The Haunting of Brynn Wilder. I think I called it Brian Wilder before, but I believe it's Brynn. I have the Kindle Unlimited version and I'm currently listening to it and I'm checking up on my uploads. I ended up uploading the like remarkable review for my GM Witch channel, which is supposed to go up today, and all of that set up. I did everything last night, so I'm like super happy that I don't have to worry about it. And then like I said, I do have an orthodontist appointment this morning, so I have my retainer with me. I think this video is mostly going to be about Winterween, so if you're interested in the reading challenge, stick around. I'm like really in the spooky story vibes this week, so there's gonna be lots of updates. Okay, so I have finished book 2 of, what am I doing? Winterween? I just finished book 2 of Winterween, the buddy read, and I loved it. I absolutely loved it. I realized that I'm into that kind of stuff. It was a little bit weird, like not everything was explained. Okay, so I seriously just don't want to do anything else. Why does the end of the day come and all of a sudden I'm just useless? I'm so useless. I'm so tired and lazy and I just want to like relax and watch YouTube videos and do nothing productive for the end of the day. but I would also like to finish working on rewards. I did some yesterday. I could probably pull something together with that. I still have to add stamps to the envelopes. They're all packed and ready to go, but they need stamps so I can drop them off at the post office, which I'm hoping to do by tomorrow at the latest. I also want to finish reading the Mannequins book. I don't know.
1977, May 3rd, 6:30 in the morning. No one knows anything but this innocuous fact. Hello, still fluffed and convex. Nothing seems out of place. A row of science fair ribbons on the wall. A postcard of Einstein. Her silence says everything. I'll check outside, she says at last. Maybe for some reason...
I just finished Everything I Never Told You. I had to read the last 2 pages again. It was a roller coaster. This book was a heartbreak. I don't know how to describe this book. Okay, so I am currently reading The Night of the Mannequins, or Killer Mannequins, or whatever, I'm not sure. It was interesting and weird to start off with, and then it went into a direction that I'm like not interested in. And I'm like, oh, I guess I'm 55% into it at this point. I also don't want to read anymore. Like, okay, it's pretty late. I finished the 3rd book of the day. It wasn't what I was expecting, and I wasn't really enjoying it when I realized what it was. But it was still actually pretty good, and if I had been in the mood for that sort of thing, I probably would have enjoyed it more. Good morning! Today is Wednesday, January 6th. This is my 2nd attempt at this intro. I have a bad habit of rambling. Anyway, I am going through my planner for the day. I ended up putting out some plans for the things that I want to track at the end of the month. So I did a little bit of decorating of my planner yesterday, but there's this kind of spot that hasn't really gotten used up, and I thought it might be fun at the end of the week to add little stickers of the 5-star books that I read that week. And then I also am gonna stop by a post box today to drop off all of the December rewards, and I would like to start putting together the January reward preview post for Patreon so people have an idea of what they're going to be getting if they sign up in January. Okay, I also decided that it would be fun to put my TBR for the week on this shelf. Sorry, you can probably hear the heater cold, but that way every time I walk out of my room, this is the shelf that I tend to see. I forgot to mention, I ordered all of the January physical reward, and now since I have everything all set up and ready to go, I'm just gonna drop them off at the post box. Okay, just double checking that I have everything here, and I'll go drop these off. I'll do that right now. Okay, since it is dark out, I'm gonna start listening to Wilder Girls as my Read It in the Dark book. Okay, so I just finished Wilder Girls, and I don't even know what to say. I gave it 5 stars. I really enjoyed it. It was weird. I'm sure it's not for everybody. I loved it. Good morning. Today is a hard day. Today is just one of those days where I'm feeling pretty overwhelmed. I try not to bring much of that onto the channel because, like, who wants to focus on somebody's down days? But I also figured it's okay to kind of mention it when things are kind of overwhelming. I feel like the past couple of weeks have been a little bit stressful for me, and I've been ignoring it internally. Yeah. Okay, so my copy of The Shining came in, which I read earlier this week for the WINTERWEEN reading challenge, and I absolutely adored it, so I definitely wanted to grab a copy. I also, which came a couple of days ago, got The Haunting of Brynn Wilder, which is another one I read for Winterween that I really enjoyed, and I enjoyed it so much that I actually picked up 2 more books from the author that did that one, Wendy Webb. So I got Daughters of the Lake and The Vanishing, and I'm so excited to check these out, especially The Vanishing because it's got this like spooky house on it, so I'm hoping that we're gonna get some haunted house vibes in here. I'm not 100% sure what either of these are about. They kind of popped up while I was looking for some other things, and they were pretty affordable, so I was all like, okay, they're fairly cheap, let me just grab them since they're paperback copies, and I really liked work from her previously, so I just mostly got these for the author. Also, since it is only Thursday and I have already finished all of the books that I needed to finish for Winterween and mostly for my TBR except The Hush. Still don't think I'm going to finish it this week, but hopefully I'll get fairly close so that I can wrap it up next week. And then I'm also thinking of picking up The Walls Around Us, which has been on my TBR for years, but I am thinking of doing some sort of TBR challenge game thing, which I'll probably work on in next week's vlog, so stay tuned for that if you want to see me create a TBR game. Okay, mini book haul. I have been waiting for this. You Say It First. I believe this is kind of a rom-com-y type thing. Highly recommended by BookTube or by a couple of my favorite booktubers is Middle Game, which I'm really excited about. I also got the Over the Woodward Wall or something like that, which is a story from inside this book. So excited to read both of those. The Catcher in the Rye, a book I read in high school that I constantly think of for like just random things, and I'm all like, why did these things stick in my head so much? I should probably give this another read. The House Girl, I believe this was on my TBR years ago. I have no clue what it's really about, but because I'm doing the Buzzwordathon from Books and Lala, one of the months the word is home or house, and I don't really have a lot of options for that. So when I saw this at discount, I was all like, yes, please. Deadly Curious, have no clue. This one I think was just super cheap, so I was all like, looks interesting. The Order of the Pure Moon Reflected in the Water. I'm really digging kind of shorter, oh, it's got speckled edges, shorter books that I could just read really quick. Ooh, it's a signed edition. So this is Love Boat Taipei, which I have no clue about, but I've seen it around and it looked really interesting, and again, discount. So, okay, so wanted to read more spooky stuff for Winterween, and I decided to finally pick up A Monster Calls. For some reason, I wanted to read a physical book, and let's be honest, I'm just not that interested. I think it's unfair because I haven't given it a chance. I have not opened it up since I put it down 6 months ago or whatever. I'm just like not in the mood. I decided to pick up A Monster Calls, getting into it. I am currently 30 pages in. A couple of these are double page illustrations, so it's got a really cool spooky vibe to it, even though it seems to be a middle grade, and in general I don't think I like middle grade. So far the topic is interesting, the main kid is interesting. Okay, so it is 9:40 and I just got off of a several hour long conversation with my mom. Totally unexpected. I love my mom. Before that, I started reading A Monster Calls. I think I mentioned this already, and I'm really enjoying it. I didn't get very far. I probably would have finished it tonight if my mom didn't call me. Yeah, I was doing that, and then I also ended up writing a short story bit. That was really fun to do. I'm really enjoying these videos, but sometimes I feel like I don't have anything like interesting to say or show. Like there is plenty of interesting stuff that goes on, but sometimes I'm too tired to put in that extra effort to do the interesting things for the video. And so some days I feel are definitely more interesting than others. And now I'm just trying to like cut that stuff out. I'm just all like, well, if I didn't do anything interesting that day, then we're just not gonna show that day. Like it's okay if I skip a day because all I did was ramble or something. But since I'm doing the reading and I'm reading basically every day at this point, there's always at least something for me to share. I am frustrated that I haven't been drawing though. Almost 10 o'clock on Thursday night and I haven't done a single drawing this week. I'm gonna continue to watch BookTube is what I'm watching, and then I'll be adding some stuff to the shop so that there's less for me to do in the morning. Wish me luck! Good morning! Today is Friday, January 8th. Ugh. Why are you so meow meow? I have another apartment treatment that's supposed to happen today, so I'm prepped for that. I have the shop launch happening today, which I'm pretty excited about. I put everything up last night and finished it this morning. Yeah, those are the big things. I do hope to work on some of the products to kind of get them ready. Oh my god! I knew it early on what was gonna happen and how much this was going to hurt my heart. 5 stars for sure. This is an amazing book. I'm sitting here in my car bawling. Okay, so I just got back into the apartment. I went into the kitchen so that I can make myself something to eat because I was starving, and I noticed a propane smell and looked over to see that the bug guy accidentally turned one of the knobs on my stove and slowly let gas out into my kitchen for the past 2 hours. So that was quite the scare. Okay, so I just got my Noissue reorders. This is concerning, but as what I remember previously, I think they wrapped the tape so that since it is water activated, so that obviously if they get wet, it doesn't ruin the entire rolls. All right, moment of truth. So this looks the way I was expecting the first one to look, but it's still not perfect. So this is the seam now. So at first glance, it almost looks seamless, which is what I was expecting the first time around. Okay. So it is 9 o'clock. I ended up taking a nap. Good morning. It is Saturday, January 9th. My shop is supposed to be opening this morning, so I'm gonna do my hair, which is why I haven't taken it out of my sleep bonnet. But before I did that, I wanted to actually open the shop and send out a newsletter to let people know that the shop is open, and then I won't have anything to really worry about, and I can just focus on doing my hair and picking some new books for the week. Ah, I forgot to mention, here is the after. I've been listening to The Walls Around Us, which I've had for ages. Oh boy. This is just the kind of book that I like look for. It's got spooky elements. It's got, I don't know, it's not what I was expecting, but it's everything that I wanted. I haven't finished it though, so perhaps I shouldn't say that so soon because I have like no clue what's going to happen, or I'm also not even sure how far I'm into it. And then I also tried reading The Hush some more, and I think this is a really cool like concept and idea, and I should be all over it, but I like just can't get into it. I still don't want to read it, so I'm officially DNFing it, and I don't know if or when I'm going to try and pick it up again because I do love the concept.
The memory was there. It was hanging around the corner, waiting. I saw the haze that enveloped so many of the girls around me, and a certain saccharine scent that lingered after one of us had succumbed. The drug made us forget. I wondered what would happen if one of us took too much. Would we remember? And remember what? Peaches accepted what was owed.
Okay, I just finished The Walls Around Us, which means it's time for the weekly wrap-up. Okay, it is time for the end of the video. So thank you so much if you are just here for the vlog stuff. I'm about to do a weekly wrap up and go over all of the books that I read and give you my feedback and all of that stuff. Again, thank you so much for being here. Thank you for subscribing. Thank you for checking out the shop. It's going to be open until the end of today, Monday, January 11th. So if you haven't already, head on over there. Otherwise, let's get into this wrap up. It's probably gonna take a while because I read a lot of books. First off, I participated in my first slash second reading challenge of the year. I ended up doing the Buzzwordathon last week, and this week, right after picking out the TBR, which I'm sure you remember from the beginning of the vlog, I realized that Winterween was a thing, which is put on by Gabby and Olivia. I was like, oh hey, let me do that, and I did. First book is Lies She Told by Kate Holohan, and this is a psychological thriller about a writer who is in the process of writing a first draft of a novel and trying to discover and uncover where the story is going to take her, while noticing the eerie similarities between that and the connection her husband has to the death of his work partner and best friend, and it's her trying to uncover what's going on. I ended up giving it 2 stars. I personally wasn't a fan of the main topic or theme of it, but I do think it was good regardless. It just wasn't something that I was in the mood for or that I want to read more of personally. So there were some Black characters and there was also some LGBTQ plus representation. So I thought that was really nice despite not loving the focus of the story. Then for the next book, this was actually the first book I read for Winterween. It didn't disappoint. I actually loved it. I ended up giving it 5 stars. This one is about a man with some anger management problems that he's trying to deal with that got him to lose his job, and he's at his wit's end trying to find work. He ends up getting a job as a caretaker at this old inn that kind of gets snowed in during the winter, and they just need somebody to stay there while it is closed to take care of it. He ends up getting the job and he brings his family there. We discover that his kid has some paranormal ability called the Shining, where he can kind of see and understand some things. He and the family as a whole starts noticing more and more stuff from the house and having to kind of deal with the spookiness that ensues and the madness that's caused from it. And you get a deep look into the different characters' perspectives, and I think Stephen King did a great job with that. This book had some Black representation in it, which was nice. There was a Black character in here that I really liked, and I really just enjoyed it more than I thought I would, so really liked that one. Next up, we have The Haunting of Brynn Wilder by Wendy Webb, and this one is another one of the Winterween reading challenge, so I decided to pick it up. Now, this is a story about a woman who is trying to deal with her grief after her mother died from cancer. She goes to a small town near a friend of hers to stay over the summer before she goes back to work, and during her stay, she's there at an inn which seems to be haunted, and she's trying to discover her connection with the haunting while kind of falling in love with another person who's staying there. And there's, you know, paranormal things happening around it, and there's a romance, and it's not that scary or spooky, but it was really interesting and I did really like it. I do personally like haunted house vibes, and it wasn't a scary haunted house vibe, but it still kind of had, you know, a mild vibe with that. So if you're interested in something like that, you might be interested in this. I do hear that in general, the marketing of this is pretty bad. So if you're looking for something like really scary or like some big crazy mystery, this ain't it, sis. But I did really enjoy it regardless. I ended up giving it 5 stars. I liked it. I didn't know I was getting into, which is probably why I liked it as much as I did. Next up for the prompt, a book with a blue cover, I ended up picking Everything I Never Told You by Celeste Ng. And this book, I don't actually know what genre it is necessarily. I kind of want to say it's a family thriller slash mystery. It's not super mystery and it's not super thriller at all, but it's basically about the family dynamics of this Asian American family dealing with the grief and things that they're going through after their oldest daughter dies, and them trying to come to terms with what happens, them going through and understanding the things that they haven't told each other, the lies that they've been keeping, and just all of these secrets that they have among them. And you're just kind of going through that while trying to figure out what exactly happened to the daughter and why she died. And it was beautiful, it was sad, it was emotional, and I really enjoyed it. I loved it. I ended up giving it 5 stars. It was emotional and it was very family drama based. Next up, we have a book that I don't actually have with me, and that is The Night of the Mannequins. It's a story about a group of kids, a mannequin, and murders, and trying to figure out what's going on and saving themselves and kind of dealing with that. You're going through the perspective of one of the kids. I think there was supposed to be some Native American representation. There was something that kind of hinted at all of the kids being Indian, and I thought that that was kind of cool, but I didn't really see it aside from that offhanded comment, so I don't really know if, I don't know. I unfortunately didn't love it. I ended up giving this 3 stars. I read it on my Kindle. It was a quick read. It was what, like 123 pages, so I was able to read it fairly quickly. And I don't know, I think it was good, but it just wasn't what I was expecting. And so I guess I was a little bit disappointed, perhaps. Next up, we have Wilder Girls, which I have been so excited to read this one. This was originally on my TBR, and I decided to fit it in with the prompt of something that you read in the dark. So I ended up listening to the audiobook for this late at night so that I can mark off that prompt. And this is basically a story about a group of female students at a school that is basically under lockdown after the girls are infected by something and start experiencing weird mutations and symptoms from whatever that infection is. And it's kind of just about them surviving and us trying to figure out what happened to them, why they're there, what's going on, and stuff like that. There is some LGBTQ plus representation. I don't know. I loved it. I gave it 5 stars. Next up, I started reading A Monster Calls. It's basically about a boy who has a sick mother and who has been having nightmares, and one day he meets this particular monster who has come for some specific reason and keeps visiting him to kind of help him figure out what that reason is. I cried, and it was a 5 star. Then we actually have a DNF, and unfortunately this is my second time DNFing this book. I got 20 more pages into it and was just all like, I'm not gonna try and force myself. For some reason, it's just not for me. I don't think there's anything wrong with this book, which is one of the reasons why I keep trying to read it, and I will probably do that again in the future. And then the last book of the week, I just finished this. This is The Walls Around Us. And this is basically about 2 sort of different storylines going on. You have a crime that was committed and one of the girls going to jail based off of it. And you've got people that are in basically a prison for underage girls. And then you have a girl on the outside who was part of something that got one of the girls there, and there's things that you find out, and there's kind of this like spooky element to it, and I really enjoyed this. And admittedly at the end I was all like, 5 stars, 4 stars, I'm not sure. In the end I ended up giving it 4 stars. I did really enjoy it, but there were a couple of things that I was kind of like, well, I would have liked a clearer this or a clearer that. I'm starting to learn more about the types of books that I enjoy and like, and that's what I read this week. So I had quite a lot of 5 stars. I feel like this part is probably longer than I want it to be. I hope you guys are enjoying this. This week was really fun. I completed all 5 of the prompts. Time to put the books away and pick out the next bunch.